Chapter 21 Junior Sister, Qing Ruoxian. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As for this condition, Chen didn't care. After all, he was the reborn emperor. The important thing is that she is now a disciple of Kunlun sect. There is no strong person in Kunlun sect now, so people will naturally not accept it all at once. It's just more mysterious in the eyes of others, and when he summoned more powerful people, he didn't believe Qing Ruoxian could be so calm. Chen was not in a hurry, believing that Qing Ruoxian would be able to fully integrate in soon. Regarding Chen's words, Qing Ruoxian laughed in his heart. And didn't take it to heart. It was undeniable that the feeling Chen gave her was extremely mysterious. Even if she used the imperial thought in her soul just now, she couldn't see through Chen. It was as if his body was covered by chaos, leaving no trace behind. But what a fairy! Immortals claim to be immortal, but who in this world dares to say that they can destroy immortals with a snap of their fingers? Ha! Lin Yun, Ling Xue, come here quickly. I've found a junior sister for you. Chen was very happy now. He was very satisfied with receiving a reborn emperor. He shouted to the two people who were chatting with each other in the distance. Road, the two of them didn't seem to hear a handsome guy like the readers calling them in the distance. Lin Yun held Ling Xue's little hand and said seriously, Junior sister, look at the fireworks in the sky, just like my heart, which is blooming with the warmest love for junior sister all the time. Ling Xue had never heard such earthy love words before. Two blushes instantly appeared on her beautiful cheeks, which was so cute. She said shyly, Senior brother, you are annoying. Hear what the two said. Chen's face was full of black lines. Damn it. Good guy. Are your fireworks stained with blood? People are killing people in the air. You are showing off your affection. So shameless. Oh, Carrot, oh, senior brother, did you hear the sect master calling us? Ling Xue woke up from Lin Yun's earthy love words and seemed to hear someone calling them. Lin Yun was unmoved, but went even further. He hugged Ling Xue directly as if no one was there, and continued, Junior sister, the sect leader is holding my sister, don't worry about him, let's continue. Ling Xue's delicate body trembled at his action, and her cute face was filled with shyness. When Chen heard this in the distance, his face suddenly turned dark and ugly. He looked at Qing Ruoxian and found that she was looking at him with a speechless look, as if to say, is this the Kunlun sect that you said can destroy immortals with a snap of your fingers? That she regrets it now. At this time, Lin Yun suddenly felt a chill behind him and seemed to feel a murderous aura. He turned around quickly and found Chen staring at him with murderous aura. He was so frightened that he quickly pulled Ling Xue and ran to Chen and said with a smile. Sect master, you called us? Seeing that Chen didn't say a word and kept staring at his back with chills, he immediately said seriously, Sect master, my junior sister and I were discussing cultivation matters just now. I didn't hear you calling us, so don't be angry. What do you mean by discussing cultivation matters? What kind of cultivation needs to be discussed together? There are still people here. My readers and I want to know. Senior brother, please stop saying a few words. Seeing that Chen's face was extremely ugly at the moment, Ling Xue seemed to understand something and quickly touched Lin Yun. Sect master, don't be angry. Senior brother and I are indeed discussing cultivation matters. After hearing Ling Xue's words, Chen glanced at Lin Yun fiercely, and even wanted to slap this LSP to death. When Lin Yun saw Chen like this, he was so frightened that he broke into a cold sweat. He thought to himself, it's over. I'll probably be hung up and beaten by the sect leader when I go back. Ling Xue was a well-behaved and sensible girl, but she was led astray by him like this. Humph, I'll settle the score with you when I get back. Chen really couldn't afford to lose face like this, so he saw Qing Ruoxian introduced to the two of them. This is your junior sister, Qing Ruoxian, the princess of the Qing dynasty. The two of them looked at Qing Ruoxian at this time. It didn't matter if they didn't look at him. Qing Ruoxian's immortal temperament made Lin Yun immediately forget what he had just said to Ling Xue. He smiled and was about to step forward to show his status as a senior brother. As a result, Ling Xue grabbed him. Brother sure, what are you doing? Ling Xue frowned slightly, staring at him with a look that would kill him if he dared to step forward. Lin Yun shivered in fright, and suddenly felt that everything was boring. He shook his body, and withdrew his hand with a smile. Both of them have peerless looks. Ling Xue is the kind of girl next door, while Qin Ruoxian's celestial demeanor has the aloofness of a royal sister, which makes people watch from a distance but not blaspheme. Hello, junior sister, I am your second senior sister, and my name is Luo Ling Xue. Ling Xue looked at Qin Ruoxian and said happily with a pretty face, because she was finally not the only female disciple of the Kunlun sect, but she was also extremely shocked inside. I didn't expect that the sect leader was talking about junior sister. He is actually the most young person in Tianzhou and the most beautiful person in Tianzhou. It is said that he has already broken through to the Dao Palace realm. There are rumors in the outside world that she will be the youngest person in the southern wilderness territory to reach the realm of God transformation. Although Qin Ruoxian rarely appears in Tianzhou, her reputation is too great. Qin Ruoxian nodded slightly towards her. After all, she has now joined the Kunlun sect, and she is no longer the empress in charge of an ancient country. Everything has to be started from scratch. Hello, junior sister, I am your senior brother Lin Yun. Lin Yun chuckled, this LSP only knows hey. Qin Ruoxian said nothing and just glanced at him. Well, Lin Yun. If you have any questions about cultivation, in the future, you can talk more about it. If you don't understand anything, just ask me. At this time, Lu Chen looked at Lin Yun and lowered his voice. Hearing this, Ling Xue and Lin Yun replied respectfully. Yes, sect master. As for Qin Ruoxian being the reincarnation of the great emperor, Lu Chen didn't have to worry about it. Ah, damn it. At this moment, a roar resounded throughout the great Qing dynasty like a bell. Qin Zhan. I want you dead. Countless people in the ancient city looked up at the void. The warships of the 5 dynasties had been blown up by the great Qing dynasty. At this moment, the armies of the 5 dynasties were fighting against the army of the great Qing dynasty. Lu Chen and the other 2 came to the top of the ancient city and watched the great Qing army fighting with the 5 dynasties. As for Qin Ruoxian, she went to the great Qin ancestral land to awaken the dynasty ancestor. Lu Chen took a look at the army of the great Qin dynasty and couldn't help but secretly said, no wonder the great Qin dynasty can dominate a state. I didn't expect there are so many incarnations. Sure enough, it was strong enough. The 5 dynasties joined forces and didn't break through the great Qin. In the distance, countless figures appeared and were rushing towards the ancient city of Daqin, causing streams of light in the sky like rainbows. Look! What are those in the distance? Someone in the ancient city recognized the figures rushing over and was immediately shocked. Those are. It's the major forces in Tianzhou. Why are they all rushing to the great Qin dynasty? It's over, it's over. They are running for their lives. Tianzhou, it's over. They are going to kill us all. The little monk who said there were artifacts at the auction at the gate shouted in despair. At this time, a monk next to him was shocked, as if he saw something terrible. Look, what are those behind? Hiss. That's the army of the 5 dynasties. They are chasing the major forces in Tianzhou. How many people did the 5 dynasties send out? There must be tens of millions. Sure enough, behind the fleeing Tianzhou forces, countless armies appeared in an instant, and were coming towards this place in a mighty siege. That's right, the 5 dynasties dispatched tens of millions of troops, and even the 5 dynasties directly dispatched hundreds of Dao Palace realm and Huashan realm powerhouses, and countless armies below the Dao Palace realm. Now, except for the great Qin dynasty and the great Zhou dynasty, almost all of Tianzhou has not been conquered, and the others have been conquered by the 5 dynasties. The great Zhou dynasty has Wang Ming and the other 3 sent by Lu Chen, who are all invincible in the same realm, and if the 3 of them attack together, even the Dongxiu realm can fight. Otherwise, the great Zhou dynasty will never be conquered in a short time. The Dongxiu realm kings of the 5 dynasties are fighting Qin Zhan at this time. Master, my father, Queen Mother and ancestors are still in the great Zhou, and the disciples are worried. Don't worry, nothing will happen with Wang Ming and the other 3. Lu Chen interrupted her and said calmly. Junior sister, don't worry, with the 3 seniors helping, the great Zhou dynasty will be fine. Lin Yun also comforted her at this time. Well, Ling Xue also believes in the strength of Senior Wang Ming and others. Ling Xue said with a firm look in her eyes, because the ancestor told her that Wang Ming is very powerful and not an ordinary god. Transformation realm. Warm reminder, if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to inform us. We will deal with it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding. Chapter 22 Ancient Token. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom-at. This time, Tianjian was holding the Heavenly King's soldier in the void. His body was stained with blood, and a cold and violent aura erupted from the spear in his hand, and the surrounding spiritual energy gathered crazily on the spear. No, Lord Kamikaze, get out of here. Lord Tianwu yelled at Lord Kamikaze opposite Tianjian. The Lord of the Kamikaze Kingdom felt this breathtaking aura, and his face changed drastically. He reacted instantly and felt his scalp numb, and a dangerous aura hit his heart. Death! Tianjian roared. Buzz, a spear thrust out and headed towards him with terrifying power. The space in front was instantly pierced, and the spear's violent aura rushed towards him with undiminished terrifying power. Ah! The leader of the Kamikaze Kingdom roared, and instantly used his spiritual power to construct a barrier. Boom! The spear directly pierced the spiritual barrier, and the powerful and terrifying force fell directly on the Lord of Kamikaze. Ah! Bang! Only a loud noise was heard. The leader of the Kamikaze Kingdom was directly hit in the body by this terrifying shot, fell from the void, and hit the ground hard. Countless dust was immediately raised, and a big crater was made on the ground. Puff! At this time, he struggled to get up from the ground and looked at his chest in disbelief. A big hole suddenly appeared, his aura declined to the extreme, and he fell to the ground dying. Kamikaze! Damn it! When the other kings saw this scene, their eyes turned murderous. The king of Tianwu looked at Tianjian and said angrily, Tianjian, how dare you hurt the divine wind, how shameless. 5 of them beat one, and they almost got killed in return, and now they can still say such shameless words. You deserve to die. Everyone looked at the shameless Lord Tianwu with contempt in their hearts. But no one dares to say it. On the other hand, everyone was extremely shocked when they looked at the Lord of the Kamikaze Kingdom. It's worthy of being in the cave realm. He could withstand a single blow from the King of Heaven's soldiers and still not die. Sigh. At this time, the space that was penetrated in the void made a crackling sound. Everyone looked into the void, their eyes suddenly widened, their expressions changed drastically. They were shocked and couldn't believe the scene before them. Is this the Dongshu realm? Watching the space cracks that were penetrated in the void slowly repaired, everyone was shocked again. The powerful Dongshu is so terrifying. In the void at this moment, the other kings looked at the Kamikaze King who was lying on the ground with a gloomy expression, and then turned to look at Tianjian, whose breathing was disordered, and said angrily, Tianjian, say it again, as long as you hand over the ancient token, we will leave Tianzhou immediately. The words just fell. Sudden, the major king seemed to sense something, and at the same time their faces changed slightly, and a trace of fear flashed in their eyes, but no one is paying attention to them now. Everyone present couldn't help but exclaimed after hearing the words of the major kings. Ancient token. Could it be that the ancient secret realm is about to appear? You mean, the ancient secret realm left over from the ancient era? That's right, 100,000 years have passed since the last time the ancient secret realm appeared. According to the fact that the ancient secret realm is born every 100,000 years, it seems that it will not be long before the ancient secret realm appears. That the ancient secret realm is a treasure land full of opportunities and dangers. It is said that there are many elixirs in it, and there are even holy and imperial medicines in it. Not only that, there is also the inheritance of great power from ancient times. There is even an ancient emperor buried in it. It is more like a powerful cemetery than a secret realm. The person who spoke was none other than Yuzong from Tianji Pavilion. He did not leave, but remained in the ancient city of Qing. At this time, his expression was extremely excited. The forces from other major states did not leave either and were watching the excitement from the sky above Qingzhou. When they heard the ancient token, their expressions changed drastically, and they immediately said excitedly, "It's the token to enter the ancient secret realm." The ancient token appears. Quick! Notify the family leader, sect leader. Powers from all major states shouted. They didn't expect to encounter the ancient token during this trip to Tianzhou. The ancient token is the key to the secret realm. At that time, as soon as the ancient secret realm is born, whoever has the ancient token will be able to enter the ancient secret realm first. After the secret realm is born, it will take a year to open automatically. Therefore, with the ancient token, you can enter the secret realm in advance. This is why they are so excited. At this time, several major kings also discovered the actions of various states, but they didn't dare to stop it. They don't have the strength to go against the forces of the major states. Once they stop it, all the major states will come together to deal with them. That's not something they can bear. Immediately afterwards, several people looked at each other and seemed to have made a decision. Even the lord of the Kamikaze kingdom who fell on the ground seemed to have seen the thoughts of several people at this time, and then stood up with difficulty while supporting his broken body, and was about to fall down at any time. This move by the lord of the Kamikaze kingdom instantly attracted everyone's attention. That's it, so stop fighting. Just when everyone was confused, I saw several kings saying respectfully to somewhere in the void at the same time, I beg you, sir, to take action. Buzz, ripples suddenly appeared in a void, the space was turbulent, and a figure with an extremely terrifying aura appeared. I saw that his whole body was shrouded in golden light and his appearance could not be seen clearly, and he slowly took a step in the void. Boom. A terrifying coercion was released from him and suppressed everyone. Puff. Suddenly, everyone felt as if 100,000 mountains suddenly fell on their shoulders, and their bodies were under tremendous pressure. The weak ones couldn't bear the pressure and vomited out a mouthful of blood. Their face suddenly turned pale, their whole body was sluggish, and they knelt down directly on the ground, not knowing whether they were alive or dead. Even those who are in the realm of transformation are under the pressure of this terrifying aura. They were all suppressed and couldn't move. Everyone looked trembling, looking at the golden figure with deep fear in their eyes. As for Lu Chen's system, this coercion naturally has no effect on him, but Lin Yun and Ling Xue's cultivation simply couldn't withstand such pressure and almost collapsed. Snort. A cold snort sounded in the ears of the two of them, and the terrifying pressure on their bodies disappeared instantly. The two of them felt extremely relaxed, and then looked at Lu Chen with shock in their eyes. Metropolitan. The two thought it was Lu Chen who took action, but then they remembered that the voice that came into their ears just now was not Lu Chen's. When the two of them were about to ask, they were interrupted by Lu Chen, who looked at the figure in the void and said coldly, "Humph, you dare to hurt my Kunlun sect disciples, you are seeking death." At this moment, the man in golden armor didn't know that just because of the way he appeared, he was on Lu Chen's must-kill list. When the two of them heard Lu Chen's words, their hearts suddenly warmed up and they were very moved. They didn't expect that the usually majestic sect master would care so much about his sect disciples. At this time, the two of them were very lucky to become disciples of the Kunlun sect. Sect master, don't worry, I will definitely work hard to cultivate, promote my Kunlun power, and won't embarrass you and the Kunlun sect. The two of them vowed secretly in their hearts. Immediately afterwards. Snort. The golden figure looked at the major kings and snorted coldly. Ft, ft. Puff. The heads of several major Dongxiu realm kingdoms, including Tianjian, were so shocked by this cold snort that a mouthful of blood spurted out from their mouths. Several people who had been injured in the battle were now even more confused and their faces were extremely pale. Looking at that figure, Qin Zhan's pale face was full of fear, but there was no fear in his eyes, because of the terrifying aura of the golden figure. He had experienced it from his ancestor. He believed that his ancestor had awakened at this time, which was why he was not afraid of the figure in front of him. At this time, the heads of the 5 dynasties looked at the golden figure with fear in their eyes. 5 wastes. The man shrouded in golden light looked at the few people and said coldly, "You can't even win a small dynasty, and I need to personally take action, so what use do you have?" A plain word fell like a reminder in the ears of several great kings. "Sir, please give us another chance." The 5 lords looked frightened, and their livers were split with fear. Their bodies were trembling, and they lost the majesty of the previous dynasty masters. They tried their best to explain to the man in golden armor, "Sir, this man has the heavenly king's soldiers, we really can't kill him for a while." Yes, yes, sir, if he didn't have the Heavenly King's soldiers, we would have gotten the ancient token long ago. The leader of the Buddha dynasty explained with a trembling voice in fright. Several major kingdom leaders are very aware of the horror of the golden figure in front of them. If this person is dissatisfied, their dynasty will definitely be destroyed by the other party in an instant. In the eyes of others, their several dynasties are the dominant forces, but only they knew that in front of this figure, the Overlord dynasty they were for was nothing in the eyes of the other party. Everyone couldn't help but gasp. Looking at this scene, I was shocked and couldn't believe that the leader of a dominant force was so humble in front of this golden figure. Chapter 23 Half-Step Heavenly King Realm. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Then, the golden figure looked at Tianjian, whose breath was disordered, and raised his hand and waved casually. A golden palm transformed by spiritual power rushed towards him with terrifying power. Bang! There was a loud noise. Tianjian was slapped to the ground without even the strength to resist. Puff! Everyone looked at the sound. Tianjian fell to the ground and his life or death was unknown. Everyone couldn't help but take a breath. The void realm couldn't even withstand the power of a palm in front of this figure. Too scary. Who is this person? Why are the rulers of the 5 dynasties so afraid of this figure? And his strength is so terrifying. Could this person be a great power in the Heavenly King realm? However, this thought quickly flashed through everyone's mind. If it was really a great power in the Heavenly King realm, the great Qing dynasty would be destroyed in a moment. Even the aftermath would be enough to blast them into ashes. They would not see this scene. Just when everyone was guessing the origin of this golden figure, boom! A terrifying aura erupted from the depths of the ancient city of Daqin. Suddenly, the wind and clouds surged, and countless spiritual energy suddenly gathered to form 100-foot spiritual light column in the void. Then it suddenly exploded in the air. Buzz. Instantly, ripples in the void were aroused and impacted the clouds within a radius of 100 miles. Hiss! This aura. It's as terrifying as that golden figure. That direction is the palace of the great Qing. Could it be the ancestor of the great Qing dynasty? It seems that the rumors are true. It is said that the ancestor of the great Qing dynasty has already taken half a step. Everyone looked towards the depths of the ancient city of Daqin and was shocked again. Another terrifying strong man appeared. It's just that I don't know which of these 2 terrifying strong men is stronger. After the 5 dynasties felt this terrifying aura, their expressions changed drastically and they were terrified. Even they did not expect that the ancestor of the great Qing dynasty was the same as that adult, and was also a half-step heavenly king. However, when they thought of the power behind that adult, the fear in the eyes of several people disappeared instantly. Instead, they were deeply awed. In front of this adult, what does it matter if the great Qing dynasty has a half-step heavenly realm? It can't escape the fate of being destroyed. The 5 great dynasty leaders seemed to have seen the scene of the demise of the great Qing, and couldn't help sneering in their hearts. In the Xuanhuan continent, if you don't enter the Heavenly King realm, you will never be considered a real strong man. The Heavenly King realm is different from other realms. It is extremely difficult to break through, because you have to condense the Dharma image heaven and earth in the Tao palace in your body. If you can't condense the Dharma image heaven and earth, there is only one possibility to force a breakthrough to the Heavenly King realm. That is to use the 9th grade Tianling pill, or the best grade or higher elixir. Even if you use the elixir, there is only a 60% chance. And even if you break through to the Heavenly King realm, it is not at the same level compared to the same realm, because there is no Dharma image heaven and earth in the Tao palace. The Tao palace in the body does not have the unique magic power of the Heavenly King realm. At this time, the figure in the void had faded away from the golden light, and only a man in golden armor appeared in everyone's sight. He looked towards the depths of the ancient city of Daqin, and there was no change on his face, but there was a hint of rage in his eyes. Interesting. I didn't expect that a half-step Heavenly King realm could appear in a small dynasty. At this time, a voice containing terrifying power came. Young man, you are looking for death. Everyone saw an old figure appear in the void, and a terrifying power suddenly burst out from his body, and suddenly suppressed the golden armored man. He was the ancestor of the great Qing dynasty awakened by Qing Ruoxian, Qin Lan, a half-step Heavenly King realm. He looked at the man in golden armor, and the expression on his old face changed, and his pupils suddenly shrank. Half-step Heavenly King realm. At this time, his face was extremely solemn, and he said in a deep voice. Who are you? Why did you attack my great Qing dynasty? That the man in golden armor remained calm in the face of the surging terrifying pressure. He waved his hand and the shrouded pressure disappeared instantly. Then. You are not qualified to know my origins. The man in golden armor had no expression on his face. Even if the other party was in the half-step Heavenly King realm like him, he was not qualified to know his identity. Humph. I don't care who you are. If you dare to attack my great Qin, don't leave if you don't give me an explanation today, that the great Qin patriarch said coldly. He did not retreat because the other party was also in the half-step Heavenly King realm. As soon as the words fell, before the man in golden armor spoke, several national lords looked ugly and angrily said to Qinlan, how dare you speak to the adults like this, that what a lackey. He went crazy and bit people randomly. Looking for death. The great Qin patriarch's eyes turned cold. He didn't expect that several juniors in the cave void realm would dare to speak rudely to him. He then raised his hand and grabbed several people. Boom, the terrifying force surged out and swept toward several people. Several people were immediately terrified. Just when they wanted to escape, they found that their bodies could no longer move. With terrified eyes, they hurriedly asked for help from the man in golden armor. Sir, please save us. That how arrogant he was just now, how embarrassed he is now. Seeing this, the man in golden armor's face darkened. He didn't expect Qinlan to dare to attack him. He immediately raised his hand and waved it, sending out a terrifying force. Boom, the two terrifying forces collided with each other in an instant and exploded. A huge mushroom cloud formed in the air. The visible force broke through the clouds within a radius of 100 miles in the void. Everyone present was shocked when they saw the scene in front of them. The heads of several kingdoms were so frightened that their faces turned pale. With a trembling voice, he thanked the man in golden armor. Thank you, sir, for your help. If you guys were not still useful, I would not care whether you lived or died. Hearing this, the heads of several kingdoms were so scared that they dared not speak. The resentment in their eyes could only be vented on the great Qing dynasty in their hearts. Okay, my patience is limited. Great Qing dynasty, right. As long as you hand over the token of the ancient secret realm obediently. Maybe I can consider sparing your lives. That what this means is that you will die whether you hand over the token or not. He just didn't want to waste his hands and feet to attack a small dynasty. Humph, you are so arrogant. Even if you have an extraordinary background, I will make you pay the price today. That the words fell, the great Qin patriarch stopped talking nonsense. Then, he raised his hand and grabbed the void, and the Heavenly King war soldier in Tianjian's hand instantly appeared in his hand. The great Qin patriarch's terrifying cultivation of the half-step Heavenly King realm burst out from him without reservation at this moment. Boom. As a half-step Heavenly King, he could feel that the golden armored man was not simple. He didn't dare to have any reservations. Huh, you old thing who doesn't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Do you think that with the cultivation of the half-step Heavenly King realm and a broken Heavenly King war soldier, you are my opponent? That the golden armored man laughed. With his eyesight, he could naturally see that the Heavenly King war soldier was not complete. Buzz. Youngster, you are looking for death. That the great Qin patriarch attacked brazenly. The light of the weapon in his hand was bright, the magic chain wrapped around the gun, the spiritual energy of 100 miles around gathered madly in the gun, and suddenly fired a terrifying shot. Bang! The gun came out, the sky and the earth changed color, and suddenly the wind and clouds surged, and violent power filled the surrounding space. The terrifying power of the spear directly tore the void space, and countless cracks appeared in an instant, carrying a terrifying power to suppress and kill the man in golden armor. Chapter 24 Bei Xuan, Kill That Man in Golden Armor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where this terrifying shot passed, many armies of the 5 dynasties were crushed into blood mist before they could withdraw from the battlefield. Everyone looked at this shot and was horrified. The man in golden armor looked at the terrifying shot that was sweeping over and took another step into the void. Suddenly, an extremely strong force suddenly burst out from his body. Buzz, boom, this breath instantly overwhelmed the powerful power of the great Qing ancestor. He raised his hand and pressed it, and the spiritual energy of the world suddenly rioted, surging and gathering madly. A huge golden palm condensed by spiritual power appeared above the great Qing dynasty. This is a half-step Heavenly King realm powerhouse. Too terrifying. Everyone took a breath and trembled with fear. At the same time, several figures suddenly appeared in the void of the states close to Tianzhou. After feeling this breath, their faces changed and they were horrified. This breath, could it be that a Heavenly King realm master is attacking? That's in the direction of Tianzhou. Isn't Tianzhou holding an auction? How could it be? At this time, an old man seemed to see something, and his eyes narrowed and he slowly said, "It's the breath of a half-step Heavenly King realm, but the person who attacked is extremely powerful. I received news from the younger generation of my family that an ancient token appeared in Tianzhou. I didn't expect that someone couldn't wait so soon." Ancient token. Hearing this, others were shocked, then the figure quickly disappeared. At this time, in the void, the golden armored man pressed his big hand, and the golden giant palm fell down with a bang, slapping towards the great Qing ancestor with terrifying power. Boom! The void space was suddenly crushed to pieces, and countless spider web-like shapes appeared, faintly unable to withstand such pressure and about to crack. The giant palm's power did not diminish and collided with the terrifying shot that came, bang, sound. The terrifying shot was directly slapped away by the golden giant palm, and suddenly slapped towards the great Qing patriarch. Buzz! The great Qing patriarch's expression changed drastically, and he quickly waved his hands to gather the surrounding spiritual power, trying to block this terrifying giant palm. Bang! There was a loud noise. The golden giant palm fell on the great Qing patriarch and slapped him directly to the ground. The earth trembled violently, and smoke and dust filled the surrounding space. After a while, the smoke and dust dissipated, and the surroundings returned to calm. A huge palm print sank deeply into the ground and appeared in front of everyone. Hiss! Everyone looked at the palm print and was shocked. I saw that the great Qing patriarch was spitting blood from his mouth, his breath was weak, and his old face was full of disbelief. Puff! How can you be so strong? Who are you? The eyes of the great Qing ancestor were horrified. They were both in the half-step Heavenly King realm, but this person was too strong, he couldn't even take the opponent's palm. How can an ant know how high the sky is, an old thing who doesn't know what's good for you? The man in golden armor looked at the great Qing ancestor with gloomy eyes and said coldly. Ancestor. At this time, on the ancient city, the guard leader Xuanhuan's eyes were about to crack, and he roared. Although the opponent was very scary, he was still not afraid of death and wanted to rush towards the man in golden armor, but found that his body could not move. After awakening the great Qing ancestor, Ruoxian came to the ancient city and happened to see the man in golden armor injuring Tianjian. He wanted to use his own trump card to kill the man in golden armor. But he was strongly blocked by Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan couldn't watch his princess go out to die. At this time, after seeing that even the great Qing ancestor was no match for the man in golden armor, Ruoxian's beautiful face turned cold, and her aura suddenly changed. Just when she was about to use the great emperor's divine thoughts in her soul, Chen, who was beside her, spoke at this time. Ruoxian, you are a disciple of my Kunlun sect. It's time to let you know the strength of my Kunlun. Ruoxian was stunned when she heard this. When the man in golden armor appeared, Chen originally wanted Bei Xuan to take action. After all, Ruoxian was now his disciple of Kunlun sect, he should help the great Qing dynasty. However, after seeing the great Qing ancestor appear, he also wanted to see how strong the ancestor of the great Qing dynasty was. But he didn't expect that the man in golden armor was so powerful even though he was also in the half-step Heavenly King realm. I don't know if Bei Xuan, who is in the 9th level of the Cave Void realm, is a match for the man in golden armor, Chen thought secretly, although the system said that the summon cultivators are invincible in the same realm, but this man in golden armor is in the half-step Heavenly King realm. Host, please rest assured. This system has already said that the cultivators summoned are the strongest in the world, and they are invincible in the same realm. Half-step Heavenly King realm is still killing people. Do you know what the same realm means? Host. The system in his mind seemed to see Lu Chen's thoughts and cursed, irritable system online. Fuck. System, you know how to practice. Lu Chen said speechlessly, Lin Yun, who knows how to practice better than me? After hearing the system's affirmation, Lu Chen didn't care about Qin Ruoxian's reaction, and said to himself in the void, Bei Xuan, kill that man in golden armor. The voice was not loud, but it contained spiritual power, which could be heard clearly by everyone present, except for the great Qin dynasty. Everyone looked at Lu Chen and his companions as if they were idiots. Lin Yun and Ling Shui beside them couldn't help but feel nervous when they saw everyone looking at them. Their eyes seemed to say, "You are looking for death, don't drag us into it." That even Qin Ruoxian had a hint of surprise in her eyes. The faces of the 5 great kings changed drastically. They didn't expect that someone would dare to say such words to the man in golden armor, huh? In the void, the man in golden armor was about to kill the great Qin ancestor. When he heard Lu Chen's words, he was stunned and then reacted, kill the man in golden armor? Isn't he talking about me? The man in golden armor looked slightly angry, looked in the direction of Lu Chen, and said in a cold voice. "Aunt, you are looking for death." That he didn't expect that someone would dare to challenge his majesty. He was going to kill this weak ant. The man in golden armor raised his hand and waved it, and a terrifying force surged towards Lu Chen. Boom. Facing the terrifying power, Lu Chen remained calm and composed, with no fear in his eyes. When everyone saw Lu Chen's appearance, they thought he was scared and said gloatingly, "You deserve it, you're looking for death, and you almost implicated us." That just when everyone thought that Lu Chen was going to be annihilated by this terrifying power, a voice full of terrifying power rang out between heaven and earth. "Get out!" Boom, the terrifying power was dispersed by a word. A green figure appeared in the void. He was very young, but no breath could be felt on his body. Everyone present changed their expressions again, and their eyes were shocked. Hiss. Who is this person? Is he another half-step Heavenly King realm expert? Then, in the shocked eyes of everyone, the green figure looked at Lu Chen and said respectfully, "Chen Bei Xuan, meet the sect master." Chapter 25, Killing a Half-Step Heavenly King. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Bei Xuan is the guard elder of Kunlun sect. He had been hiding in the void, waiting for Lu Chen to speak. Metropolitan. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but take a breath and looked extremely shocked. How is that possible? That man in white is actually the leader of a sect, and he's still so young. That even Lin Yun and Ling Shui looked at the figure in green in the void with shock in their eyes, and said in shock, "This is actually the guard elder of my Kunlun sect." Although Qin Ruoxian's face didn't change at all, when he looked at the figure in Qingyi, he couldn't help but feel shocked. Although she couldn't see through Lu Chen's depth, she still had the discernment she should have as the great emperor of the upper realm was reborn. She could see that the figure in green clothes, although he only had the cultivation level of Dongxiu realm, he possessed extremely terrifying power in his body. After a while, everyone reacted in shock, and for a moment they were confused about the current situation. Suddenly another strong man appeared, and it seemed that he was from the Qing dynasty, and the person who spoke just now was actually the leader of a sect. There's something good to watch now. People from various major states seemed to want to see the two of them fighting, and their eyes were extremely excited. They didn't expect that the man in golden armor was so strong. Horse riding. Quick. Quick, let's fight. Humph, it's best to lose both sides. When the ancestor comes to the ancient token. These forces all have their own agenda, hoping that both sides will suffer losses. At this time, the man in gold armor looked at Chen Bei Xuan, and his expression suddenly changed. He couldn't even tell the depth of the figure in green clothes in front of him, and what puzzled him the most was that this person actually had no aura fluctuations on his body, but he could dispel the power of his blow with just one word. Is he also? Just when the man in golden armor was confused, after everyone noticed the change on the face of the golden-armored man, they couldn't help but feel shocked and shocked. Is this man in green a half-step Heavenly King who is even more powerful than the ancestor of Great Qin? Otherwise, why would the man in golden armor show such an expression? After seeing the changes in the golden-armored man, the 5 kings also had shocked expressions on their faces, and a bad premonition appeared in their hearts. Snort. Who are you to dare to stop me? Although the man in golden armor could not see through Bei Xuan's strength, it did not mean that he would give up. After all, the forces behind him are extremely terrifying, so he doesn't have to be afraid of any forces in the southern wilderness. Kunlun Sect, Sect Guard Elder, Bei Xuan. Just listening, Bei Xuan glanced at the man in golden armor, and then said calmly, the words fell, everyone's hearts trembled violently, and their expressions were extremely shocked. They had never heard of the Kunlun sect in the southern wasteland, and what kind of sect is so powerful that it can let such a powerful man serve as the sect's guard? Hear the words, the golden-armored man's expression changed slightly, and then his eyes turned cold. He had never even heard of the Kunlun sect. As for the sect guard elder Bei Xuan was talking about, he completely believed that the other party was deceiving him. At this time, his face looked extremely ugly, as if he was being played by someone. Just now, he thought that Bei Xuan came from those forces and came for the ancient token, so he was a little afraid. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be an unconventional sect that appeared from nowhere. The thought of this made him extremely angry. Snort. The man in golden armor snorted coldly, and then said coldly. Kunlun sect, I have never heard of it. Just now you dared to stop me from killing that ant. You're looking for death. The man in golden armor took action boldly, and instantly a terrifying power surged out, immediately eclipsing the sky and the earth. The mighty power whipped up countless hurricanes, and headed towards Bei Xuan with a shocking force. He went all out. He only used 80% of his strength against the great Qing ancestor. Now facing Bei Xuan, he has no reservations. He could feel that Bei Xuan seemed to have terrifying power in his body. If he didn't take action with all his strength, he was afraid of capsizing in the gutter. Rumble, wherever the terrifying power passed, the void space was squeezed and cracked layer by layer, making bursts of sounds. Sigh. Everyone's scalps were numb and their livers and gallbladders were bursting under the pressure of this terrifying force that could tear everything apart. Their eyes were full of fear and they couldn't help but scream. I can't stand it anymore. Quick, save me. The bodies of those with weak cultivation cannot withstand such pressure, and there is faint blood flowing out of the body, which looks extremely oozing. Chen systematically blocked this terrifying pressure, and naturally the people around him were not affected. However, Ruoxian glanced at Chen, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes, facing the terrifying force that swept over him. Bei Xuan showed no trace of fear on his face. I saw him stepping into the void. With one step, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth converged crazily at his feet. With the second step, the void within 1,000 miles radius trembled violently. Every step he took caused the void in this area to continuously change. When he took the 9th step, boom, a terrifying aura that did not belong to the Dongxiu realm suddenly burst out from his body. Buzz, I saw Bei Xuan pointing his fingers together into a sword, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth seemed to be summoned and surged in, instantly converging on his fingertips. He used his finger to make a sword and gently slashed at the terrifying force that was sweeping over, and 1,000-foot sword energy surged out. Bang! The sword energy directly cut through the terrifying force that was sweeping over, and it rushed towards the man in golden armor with undiminished power. Tear! No! The man in golden armor let out a roar, and was swallowed by the shocking sword energy before he could resist. A moment later, the sword energy dissipated, and a huge crack suddenly appeared in the void, and countless space fragments floated out. The crack in the void made a hissing sound. As the battle between the two powerful men ended, everyone present suddenly felt that the pressure around them disappeared. Everyone couldn't help but exhale heavily. It's too scary. I didn't expect to see 2 battles between half-step heavenly kings in one day, but, is this really half-step heavenly king? It's too scary. But fortunately, it's finally over. Everyone present hurriedly looked into the void, and saw a green figure standing in the air. Obviously, the man in golden armor died in that terrifying sword energy. And the huge crack cut by the sword energy is slowly recovering. In the blink of an eye, this world has returned to peace. Everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them and took a breath of cold air, and their hearts were extremely shocked, and the originally weak great Qing patriarch also looked at the figure in the void, his pupils shrank suddenly, his face suddenly changed, and a trembling expression appeared on his face. Even a strong man like the man in golden armor is not the opponent of this green figure. What kind of sect is this Kunlun sect? There is such a strong man. But why has it never been heard of in the southern wilderness? At this time, after seeing the death of the man in golden armor, the rulers of the 5 dynasties were trembling, and their eyes were full of fear. The Lord of Tianzhou looked at Chen Bei Xuan with horror, and said with a trembling mouth, You actually killed the adults. Hearing this, everyone was shocked by his shameless face again, as expected of you. You are so shameless. Soon everyone realized that the man in golden armor who could be called a master by the rulers of the 5 dynasties must have a terrifying identity and origin. But now he died in the hands of the Kunlun sect. I am afraid that Tianzhou will not be peaceful next. Or, the entire southern wilderness will not be peaceful. Bei Xuan, take down those 5 people. On the ancient city, Lu Chen looked at Chen Bei Xuan and said, as soon as the voice fell, the expressions of the 5 rulers changed drastically in an instant, and the ruler of Tianzhou shouted, Run away, whoosh. The 4 rulers instantly burst out their full body cultivation and rushed out of Tianzhou quickly, turning into several streams of light, and in the blink of an eye they had escaped thousands of miles away. As expected of the powerful cave masters, they ran away so fast. Don't ask why they don't just cross the void, because their strength is not enough. To achieve a real void crossing, you must have a cultivation level of at least the 7th level of the cave realm. Damn it. Wait for me. At this time, the injured kamikaze lord stood there in despair, his face extremely ugly. He never thought that he was fine when he came here. Now he can't go back. Chapter 26. You farted, I was there at the time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just then. Want to escape? That everyone saw the green-clothed figure in the air smile, and then he raised his hand and grabbed the space in the direction of the 4 kings who were fleeing rapidly, and a space portal suddenly appeared in front of him. Immediately afterwards, under the horrified gazes of everyone, the figure in green stretched out his hand towards the door. The 4 kings, who had escaped thousands of miles away, were flying wildly and rapidly, and suddenly felt that they were enveloped by an unknown force. Several people fled quickly, their bodies paused, and when they turned around, their expressions changed drastically, and their eyes widened with disbelief. Buzz, a big hand came out of the space and grabbed a few people. Before they could react, they were grabbed into the space by the big hand and disappeared. When they appeared again, they looked around in confusion, and they immediately realized what they were about to do and wanted to escape again. Bang! Chen Bei Xuan raised his hand and waved, and several people instantly flew out and hit the ancient city wall hard, and then fell down. Puff! Several people fell to the ground and vomited blood. When they looked at Chen Bei Xuan, their eyes were full of fear. After a while, the forces in the major states also recovered from the battle just now. After knowing how powerful Chen Bei Xuan was, they all took out jade slips to quickly send messages. I don't dare to let my ancestor come here again. What a joke. Come to die. Even the man in golden armor, who was so powerful in the half-step heavenly king realm, died at the hands of this figure in green. If you let your ancestors come here again, it will really be in line with that sentence. We will ask your ancestors to die. It's so filial to imagine that scene. Among the major states' forces, although many of their ancestors are at the half-step heavenly king realm, they are all extremely powerful beings in the southern wilderness territory, but he may not be Chen Bei Xuan's opponent. The ancestors of the 5 great dynasties were only at the 9th level of the Dongshu realm. It was precisely because of the existence of the man in golden armor that the 5 major dynasties dared to join forces to attack the Qing dynasty, or even the entire Tianzhou. Immediately afterwards, the forces in various states have left Tianzhou one after another, and the forces in Tianzhou have also left the Qing dynasty. As for the auction, of course it cannot continue. This behavior of the 5 dynasties has completely put them on the blacklist of the Ancient Chamber of Commerce. Even if the Ancient Chamber of Commerce does not take action to destroy them, there are still many forces willing to do it for the Ancient Chamber of Commerce. After this battle, the name of the Kunlun sect has been spread throughout the major states in the southern wilderness region. Everyone is guessing what kind of sect the Kunlun sect is, of course. Lu Chen didn't know this, because even he didn't expect that Bei Xuan's powerful move to kill a half-step heavenly king would suddenly make the Kunlun sect famous. However, there are also many forces that do not believe at all that the Kunlun sect is as strong as the half-step heavenly king, because they have never heard of the Kunlun sect in the southern wilderness region, but some people think it is a force from other major regions. Various theories have emerged and are circulating in the major states in the southern wilderness region. Of course, it is passed from person to person, and the more it spreads, the more outrageous it becomes, and the outrageous mother opens the door to outrageousness to the point of outrageousness. What's even more awesome is that there is a method of showing up. Have you heard that an ancient sect has appeared in Tianzhou, and it is rumored that there is a powerful person in the heavenly king realm in the sect? You fart. I was at the scene at the time, and the terrifying aura was definitely the work of a saint. What? Saint. It's impossible. How could a being like a saint appear in Tianzhou? Are you really scaring me? I was at the scene. Let me tell you, that day I saw a terrifying figure in green appearing in the sky over Tianzhou. Hurry up. After that figure appeared, I saw that he used his fingers as a sword and slashed Tianzhou in half with one strike. Hiss. This is so scary. I don't know if the Kunlun sect will accept any more disciples. Quick, don't stop me, I'm going to Tianzhou to become a disciple of the Kunlun sect. At this time, a figure suddenly appeared. Listening to these monks talking about Kunlun sect, a murderous intent appeared in their eyes. I'm afraid this Kunlun sect is not simple. We have to go back and report to the king quickly. Otherwise, I'm afraid the ancient token will be obtained by other forces first. The figure said something secretly, and then disappeared. The head of the Han family in Yuezhou. How is that possible? There is the heavenly king realm in Tianzhou. Lin Shi, the owner of Yuezhou Yaoqi Palace, said coldly, that's nonsense. How can the heavenly king realm appear in Tianzhou? At the Zhongyi Hall of the Bombing Heaven sect in Liangzhou, the gang leader said, what? A great master of the heavenly king realm appears in Tianzhou. Brothers, follow me. A half-step heavenly king is enough to affect the balance of the major forces in the entire southern wilderness territory. In the southern wilderness territory, the forces that can exist in the half-step heavenly king realm are all top overlord forces. At the same time, barren state. Jun family, as the top force in the overlord level, it is rumored that the Jun family has powerful beings at the heavenly king level. At this time, in the main hall of the Jun family, the head of the family, Jun Wuhui, was sitting on the main seat. He looked at an elder who had rushed back from Tianzhou below and murmured with a slight change in his face. Kunlun sect. A powerful person in the heavenly king realm. He can kill half a step in the heavenly king realm with one sword. Jun Wuhui narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the elder. Are you sure that the person who took action was not the heavenly king? Hearing this, the elder was shocked and said with a slightly trembling voice, Master, the aura on that man is very terrifying. Under his aura, it feels like he is facing the existences of my Jun family. Seeing what the elder said, Jun Wuhui's eyes flashed with doubt. How could such a force appear in Tianzhou? It's really strange. But why have I never heard of this sect in the southern wasteland? Is it really a hidden sect? That he knew all the forces that had the heavenly king realm in the southern wilderness territory, but now a force that seemed to have the heavenly king realm suddenly appeared, which surprised him. This is not because he is afraid of the Kunlun sect. Even if there is a force in the heavenly king realm, it will not be able to cause trouble in front of his Jun family. After thinking for a long time, he said to the elder after a while. As for the ancient token, we can only wait until the fifth patriarch comes out of seclusion before taking action. Jun Wuhui also wants to go to Tianzhou now, but he is only halfway to the heavenly king realm. If he really goes according to what the elder said, he may not get any benefits even if he goes. Hearing this, the elder was shocked, and then said anxiously. Master, if you don't take action, the ancient token may be obtained by other forces. Hearing this, Jun Wuhui said with disdain in his eyes, and slowly stood up. A sense of domineering pressure emanated from him, which was extremely shocking. In the southern wilderness territory, my Jun family cannot afford to offend other than those forces. Other forces are nothing more than this in the eyes of my Jun family. And those forces will not be interested in the ancient token. The forces Jun Wuhui mentioned were the holy places in the southern wilderness that had been passed down for millions of years, the dynasty and the ancient families, superpowers with terrifying backgrounds. To them, the ancient token is just a piece of useless scrap metal. As long as the ancient secret realm comes out, they all have their own ways to enter the secret realm and advance. Moreover, the ancient secret realm is, to be precise, a trial place, a place used by superpowers to test their disciples. Of course, it is a treasure trove of opportunity for other forces. Although they were used by those superpowers to test disciples, they were all on the periphery of the secret realm. The inner circle of the secret is the real treasure of opportunity, but many conditions must be met to enter the inner circle. It is rumored that there is an ancient trial road outside the ancient secret realm, and if you want to step into the real secret realm, you need to set foot on this ancient road. And entering the ancient secret realm, if you want to win opportunities and natural treasures, you have to compete with the young geniuses among the superpowers. Even so, it also attracted countless people to want to enter the secret realm in order to gain some opportunities. After all, it contains the inheritance left by the powerful in ancient times. 3 days later, the Qing dynasty, in a magnificent palace. At this time, Tianjian has recovered from his injuries, but the ancestor of Great Qing has not fully recovered. After all, that golden-armored man was so strong that even the ancestor of Great Qing couldn't block his opponent's blow with all his strength. The two of them were able to recover so quickly, thanks to the ancient Chamber of Commerce. In the Great Qing dynasty, the ancient Chamber of Commerce's most indispensable thing was elixirs, and even holy medicines. As for the holy medicine, it is probably only available at the General Chamber of Commerce in the Zhongtian region. At this time, Qin Zhan said respectfully to the Great Qin ancestor. Ancestor, do you think this Kunlun sect is a hidden sect? Hear the words, a trace of awe flashed in the old eyes of the Great Qin ancestor, which was the awe of the Kunlun sect. After seeing Chen Bei Xuan's strength that day, he had a vague feeling about the Kunlun sect. The Kunlun sect was probably a hidden sect. Now that he recalled that shocking sword energy, he couldn't help but feel chills running down his spine, and a sense of fear struck his heart. Qin Zhan saw his ancestor frowning. He didn't know why and continued. Ancestor, Ruoxian has now become a disciple of the Kunlun sect. I think this is an opportunity for my Great Qin dynasty. Hear this, the ancestor of Great Qin narrowed his eyes slightly, as if he could see Qin Zhan's thoughts, and he pondered for a moment and said. You are right, the Kunlun sect is most likely a hidden sect. Moreover, the Great Zhou dynasty actually became a subsidiary force of the Kunlun sect. Having said this, the ancestor of Great Qin had a flash of light in his eyes and continued. In this case, you call that girl Ruoxian. Ancestor, I have something to say to her. Yes, ancestor. Qin Zhan replied respectfully. Qin Zhan, who was just about to leave, seemed to have thought of something, and said to the ancestor of Great Qin, Ancestor, the king of the 5 great dynasties. Kill it. As for the Tianwu dynasty, I will personally go to Tianzhou to destroy it after my ancestor has completely recovered from his injuries. The ancestor of Great Qin didn't wait for Qin Zhan to finish speaking, and said coldly with murderous intent in his eyes. Qin Zhan said with excitement when he heard that his ancestor was going to Tianzhou in person. Yes, ancestor. Then he turned around and left the hall. Chapter 27, The Great Power of the Heavenly King Realm, the Vietnamese Girl Ah Qing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Other side, the Qin Palace. In another hall, Lin Yun, Ling Xue, and Qin Ruoxian were all in the hall at this time. Luo Wuxuang and Wang Ming also rushed back from the Zhou dynasty. Luo Wuxuang was also quite surprised when he learned from Ling Xue that the princess of the Qin dynasty had also become a disciple of the Kunlun sect. Unexpectedly, all the princesses of the Qin dynasty became disciples of the Kunlun sect. Luo Wuxuang looked at Lu Chen, who was sitting in the main hall, his eyes filled with awe. then he quickly asked Ling Xue what happened next, because he and Wang Ming and others rushed back to the Zhou dynasty. Several people felt two terrifying auras erupting from the direction of the great Qing dynasty. Each aura made Luo Wuxuang feel frightened. Luo Wuxuang, is this a move by a powerful person at the Heavenly King level? That he originally thought that those two breaths were enough to make people's hearts tremble. Unexpectedly, an even more terrifying aura appeared at the end. Even though he was thousands of miles away, he could still feel that aura, which was so terrifying that he couldn't even think of resisting. Especially when I heard Wang Ming's words later, I didn't expect that elder to take action. As soon as these words came out, they hit his heart and made him extremely shocked. He did not expect that this terrifying aura was actually caused by the elders of Kunlun sect. What shocked him even more was that the Kunlun sect indeed had powerful beings above the Dongshu realm. Luo Wuxuang's thoughts were almost the same as those of other monks who were not present in the southern wilderness region. They all believed that Kunlun sect had powerful beings at the Heavenly King level. If they knew that Chen Beixian only had the cultivation level of Dongshu realm, they would be shocked. Because in the southern wilderness territory, there is no existence that can suppress the half-step Heavenly King realm in Dongshu realm. And there is still a difference of 9 small realms. At this time, Lu Chen, who was sitting in the main hall with his eyes closed and concentrating, suddenly remembered that Qin Ruoxian had become a disciple of the Kunlun sect, but the dog system did not give any rewards. He immediately thought to himself. System, come out. Are you trying to exploit me? After a moment, the cold voice of the system came through my mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for receiving a peerless genius and completing the system task. Now the host will be rewarded. Chapter 28 Fusion of Chaos Sacred Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Buzz, a terrifying power suddenly appeared in his body. Feeling the shocking power in his body, Lu Chen was overjoyed and immediately concentrated on the fusion. Boom, a terrifying aura spread out from his body and swept across the entire ancient city of Daqin in an instant. This breath. Is it difficult? Could it be that another extremely powerful man has taken action against the Qing dynasty? No. Something's wrong. This breath can only make people feel scared. But, there is no sense of coercion. Hiss. This direction is, the direction of the palace. Could it be? Everyone in the ancient city of Daqin suddenly looked shocked. They looked above the palace and their eyes widened with shock. They saw countless divine lights appearing in the sky, shining brightly. This was actually the fault of the system. He only covered up part of the vision of the chaos holy body, and only the monks in the ancient city of Daqin could feel it. At the same time, ancient chamber of commerce. How is it possible? This breath. Could it be that the Kunlun sect is really a hidden sect? Deep in the depths, an old man was frightened. A light burst out from his old eyes, and runes appeared in his eyes as if he could see through the layers of void. Looking towards the direction of the palace, in the main hall, everyone felt this aura and looked at Lu Chen in the main seat, with horrified expressions and shock in their hearts. At this time, countless divine lights were flowing around Lu Chen's body, and a strange phenomenon emerged behind him. A long river full of ancient aura suddenly appeared, and countless big worlds were reflected in the long river, sparking bursts of light. Qin Ruoxian looked at the scene in front of him, his face suddenly trembled, his pupils shrank suddenly, and his voice trembled. This is, the long river of time. Who is he? At this moment, Qin Ruoxian could no longer remain calm. Immediately afterwards, everyone saw a white-clothed figure appear on the ancient river. He looked exactly like Lu Chen, like a real immortal. He stepped on the ancient river, and every step he took seemed to span an era of time and space. Countless worlds were shattered under his feet, turning up countless waves in the long river. Hiss. Then, is that the sect leader? Luo Wuxuang and the others took a breath of cold air, and their bodies couldn't help but tremble slightly. Senior Wang Ming, is that long river the legendary, long river of years? Luo Wuxuang had seen records of the long river of time in ancient books, and thought it was just a legend, but when he saw the long river behind Lu Chen, these words naturally came to mind. the faces of Wang Ming and others did not change much, but their eyes looking at Lu Chen were full of awe. They were all monks summoned by Lu Chen, and they naturally knew Lu Chen's mysterious power. Yes, it is the passage of time. The sect master reflected the long river of time, and he should be recovering his cultivation. Wang Ming glanced at a few people and smiled. Hear the words, the eyes of several people were full of horror, and their hearts trembled. Too scary. What kind of cultivation did the sect leader have before? After regaining his strength, he can actually reveal the legendary length of time. Immediately, several people looked at Lu Chen on the main seat, and the awe in their eyes could not be greater. When Wang Ming's words fell on Qin Ruoxian's ears, they were like a thunderbolt from the blue, causing her body to tremble slightly and her eyes to be filled with disbelief. Even before she was reborn, with the cultivation of the great emperor, she did not dare to step into the river of time. It was not that she did not dare, but she could not even summon it. And she can feel that the passage of time is not as simple as a reflection caused by a vision. In the upper realm, those who can call out the long river of time can only touch one or two after setting foot in the realm of immortality. And if you want to call out the long river of time completely, only those, boom. When she thought of this, Qin Ruoxian's body trembled, and her beautiful face instantly turned pale. She didn't dare to think about it anymore. If it was really as he thought, buzzed out at this time, numerous visions behind Lu Chen suddenly moved and rushed into his body crazily. In the blink of an eye, all the visions disappeared, the divine light on his body dissipated, and the hall returned to calm, as if nothing had happened. The breath finally disappeared. Everyone in the ancient city of Decisive felt the disappearance of the aura, and couldn't help but let out a heavy breath. Although the aura didn't feel oppressive, it was extremely frightening, as if there were gods above the 9 heavens looking down on them. At the same time, Lu Chen perfectly integrated the chaos holy body. He slowly opened his eyes and a divine light flashed through his eyes. He saw that there seemed to be a galaxy inverted in his eyes, and countless big worlds were sinking and floating in them. Is the fusion complete? Lu Chen was confused, feeling nothing. Damn it! However, he soon felt the changes in his body carefully, transformed into the 9th heaven. Not only that, even the Dao Palace and Shenzong in his body have undergone huge changes. He originally relied on the cultivation card to improve his cultivation, which also led to an unstable foundation. Now the integration of the chaos holy body has just made up for this flaw. Lu Chen felt the changes in his body and was extremely excited. Lu Chen seemed to feel something at this time and looked at everyone in the hall. Damn it. Luo Wuxuang, Lin Yun, and Ling Xue looked at him with shocked expressions. What's going on? Why are you all looking at me? Ahem. At this time, Lu Chen made a voice. Ling Xue reacted instantly and found that Lu Chen was looking at them with a dignified look. Sect Master. Ling Xue's pretty face was startled and she spoke quickly. Luo Wuxuang and Lin Yun also reacted quickly and hurriedly said respectfully to Lu Chen. Sect Master, have you finished your training? Looking at the 3 people, he found that Qin Ruoxian was not in the hall, and couldn't help asking, well, by the way, where is Ruoxian? After all, the trip to the great Qing dynasty was over, and he was also ready to return to Kunlun Sect to recruit disciples next. Sect Master, junior sister just said that she had something to do and had to go to the Qin State Lord. It seems that she went to see the great Qin Patriarch. Ling Xue replied quickly, oh. See the great Qin Patriarch? She should know that Ruoxian has become a disciple of Kunlun Sect and wants to find out the details of my Kunlun Sect. Lu Chen smiled in his heart and thought secretly. He also understood the intention of the great Qin dynasty. It is estimated that Chen Bei Xuan's strength has attracted the attention of the great Qin Patriarch. Moreover, the great Qin dynasty is indeed a dominant force, and it actually has an ancestor who is half a step into the heavenly king realm. If there was no golden armored man that day, the 5 great dynasties would have been dead long ago. Just then, Ling Xue saw Qin Ruoxian outside the hall and shouted happily. Junior sister, you are back. At this time, Qin Zhan, the great Qin ancestor and Qin Ruoxian came to the hall together. Qin Zhan and the great Qin ancestor glanced at Lu Chen on the main seat, and they were shocked and immediately said respectfully to Lu Chen. Tianjian, old man, meet Master Lu. Seeing the other party so polite, Chen was also quite surprised, but soon understood the reason. After all, Bei Xuan killed the golden armored man, which was also considered to have saved the great Qing dynasty. Then he smiled at the two of them and said, "You two don't have to be polite. Ruoxian is now a disciple of my Kunlun sect. If you have any difficulties in the future, you can come to my Kunlun sect. I will help you if I can." Hearing this, the two of them showed a hint of joy in their eyes, and they were extremely excited. After all, they saw the strength of Kunlun sect with their own eyes, especially the invincible posture of the green-clothed figure, which had long been engraved in their minds. They dared not imagine how strong the foundation of Kunlun sect was. Even a half-step Heavenly King realm powerhouse could only serve as the sect's guard elder. It has to be said that Bei Xuan is powerful. Now everyone thinks he is a half-step heavenly realm. If they knew that Bei Xuan only had the cultivation level of the void realm, I really don't know how many people would be shocked. Chapter 29 Overlord Dynasty, Becoming a Subordinate Force. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two thought of this. He couldn't help but glance at Luo Wuxuang beside him, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. It would be great if the Qing could also become a subsidiary force of the Kunlun sect. Moreover, the force behind the golden armored man was not something that the Qing dynasty could offend. It was a powerful force from the eastern sky territory. This was also learned from the mouths of the heads of the 5 great dynasties. Now he died in the great Qing dynasty. Although he was killed by the Kunlun sect, he was inseparable from the great Qing dynasty. After all, the man in golden armor came here for the ancient token, and the Kunlun sect was able to help because Qin Ruoxian became a disciple of Kunlun. Although they now have Chen's promise, the two of them still feel uneasy. I am afraid that when the time comes, if the forces behind the man in golden armor take action, the great Qin dynasty may be destroyed in the hands of the opponent in an instant. Without even a chance to ask for help from the Kunlun sect. Thinking of this, the two of them had a bad premonition and became increasingly uneasy. Qin Zhan and great Qin ancestor looked at each other and decided to express their thoughts. Sect Master Lu, I am very grateful to your sect for taking action this time, so the Qin dynasty was able to escape the disaster. Qin Zhan looked at Chen and said gratefully. Master Qin, you're welcome. I said that if Ruoxian is a disciple of my Kunlun sect, he should help me. Chen smiled and didn't care about this. This is Chen's defense. As long as he is a disciple of the Kunlun sect and his disciples are in trouble, Chen will not hesitate to take action. When Qin Zhan saw Chen say this, he also saw that Chen didn't care about this, and immediately said respectfully. Sect Master Lu, our great Qin dynasty wants to become a subsidiary force of the Kunlun sect, and I hope that Master Lu can make it happen. Hearing this, Luo Wuxuang was quite surprised. He did not expect that even the overlord of a state wanted to become an affiliated force of the Kunlun sect. After saying this, Qin Zhan breathed a sigh of relief, because he could feel an invisible pressure on Chen. This is how powerful the leader of the Hidden World sect is. How horrible. In fact, this is also the reason why Chen is fused with the holy body of chaos. Hear this, Chen was stunned for a moment. Isn't this the same as the Zhou dynasty? Damn it. What script did you write? But after thinking about it for a while, Chen also understood the reason. No. You don't have to understand. Just follow my script. Grass. Okay, I agree. Chen laughed and agreed readily. After all, the Qin dynasty also has an ancestor who is half a step above the Heavenly King realm, and he is the strongest in Tianzhou. Of course, the strongest one now is the Kunlun sect. The words fell. Qin Zhan and great Qin ancestor both looked overjoyed and felt extremely excited. Sect Master, please rest assured that the Qin dynasty will never betray the Kunlun sect. The two men immediately said excitedly. Qin Ruoxian didn't react much, but looked at Chen with a hint of awe in his eyes. She is now full of curiosity about the Kunlun sect, and after seeing the vision caused by Chen, she is sure that the Kunlun sect is not as simple as she thought. Ding, the great Qin dynasty has become an affiliated force of the Kunlun sect. Congratulations to the host for gaining 10,000 Sect points, /. Chapter 30, Tianzhou's new Overlord, Tianjian Sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now that the trip to the Great Qing Dynasty has ended, Chen is also preparing to return to Kunlun Sect, but Tianjian found Chen and said that he wanted to move the Great Qing Dynasty to the Great Zhou Dynasty, merge the two dynasties into one, and plan to open up a new dynasty. Chen didn't have much objection to this matter, so he asked him to discuss it with Luo Wuxuang. Luo Wuxuang was also confused at first, but he understood the reason after thinking about it, but he couldn't make the decision on this matter, so he had to go back to the Great Zhou Dynasty to discuss it with the ancestor. Lord Qin, I have to explain this to the ancestor. Do you think you can go to the Great Zhou with us? Hearing this, Tianjian smiled and said, Hey, brother Luo, we can call each other brothers in the future. Now we are all family, the matter of dynasty merger must be explained to Senior Luo. When this matter is over, we must have a good drink. Each dynasty is inherited from ancestors for thousands of years. If two dynasties are to merge, there are still many things involved. Moreover, the Great Qing Dynasty is still a dominant force that has been inherited for 10,000 years. Hearing this, Luo Wuxuang was stunned, and then excited, as if he couldn't believe it. He couldn't even think of being on good terms with the leader of the dominant power. In the past, when he came to the Great Qing Dynasty to participate in the Qingzhou conference, he was always respectful to Tianjian, fearing that he would offend the Great Qing Dynasty. Now he can be on good terms with Tianjian. He knew that this was all because of Kunlun Sect, and if there was no Kunlun Sect, the Great Zhou Dynasty might have been destroyed long ago. When he thought of this, Luo Wuxuang's eyes were full of awe for Chen and Kunlun Sect. Since Brother Qin said so, Brother Qin will take care of me in the future. Luo Wuxuang laughed. Brother Luo is polite. Tianjian replied, as for the dynasty merger, Luo Wuxuang thought it was an opportunity for the Great Zhou Dynasty. He believed that Kunlun Sect would definitely become a major force in the southern wilderness in the future, and the affiliated forces of Kunlun Sect might have the opportunity to become members of the outer sect of Kunlun Sect, because there are many such situations in Xuanhuan continent. The affiliated forces have made great contributions to the main sect, and may not be able to enter the sect, but they can become members of the outer sect of the main sect. This is much better than the affiliated forces. The next day, outside the ancient city of Daqin, a white-clothed figure appeared in front of Tianjian, Luo Wuxuang, and the great Qing patriarch like a banished immortal. The white-clothed figure was Chen, followed by Lin Yun and Wang Ming, and Chen Beixian had been following in secret. Tianjian also followed Chen to Kunlun Sect, while the great Qing patriarch stayed in the Great Qing Dynasty. Master, we can set off. Luo Wuxuang looked at Chen and said respectfully. Okay, let's go. Swish, swish, swish. Suddenly, several streams of light shot up into the sky and flew towards Kunlun Sect in the burial Immortal Mountains. At the same time, Tianzhou, Tianjian Sect, because the original dominant power, Tianwu Dynasty, was destroyed by the Qing patriarch after he recovered from his injuries. The Tianjian Sect, which was also a dominant power, strongly suppressed all forces after the Tianjian patriarch broke through the half-step Heavenly King realm. Now it has become the only dominant power in Tianzhou, with extremely powerful strength. The old man finally broke through the cave void realm. An old man suddenly appeared above a main peak, exuding a powerful aura that immediately spread throughout the Tianjian sect, attracting countless disciples to look at the main peak. Look! Who is that who dares to seek death in my Tianjian sect? Fuck, you are really desperate. That's the great elder of my Tianjian sect. What? It's the great elder, but this aura is so terrifying. Yes. That's right. It's the great elder. The elder has broken through the void realm. That just as these disciples were shocked, a majestic voice sounded in their ears. Congratulations to the elder for breaking through the void realm. Our Tianjian sect has added another powerful void realm warrior. That a figure appeared in the void. It was the sect master of Tianjian sect, Zhao Wuji, who had a powerful cultivation base of the first level of the Void Realm, looking at the old man on the main peak with excitement. The old man was the ancestor of the Yuhua dynasty, Yunlong, who had now broken through the first level of the Void Realm. Yunlong, meet the sect master. Yunlong said respectfully to Zhao Wuji, with an excited expression, but a startling murderous intent soon appeared in his eyes. Zhao Wuji saw this and found something wrong, looking at Yunlong with puzzled eyes. Elder Yun, what's wrong with you? Yunlong's face was gloomy, and he told Zhao Wuji about the Yuhua dynasty. Humph, you dare to destroy the inheritance of my Tianjian sect's great elder, you are really courting death. Zhao Wuji was very angry after hearing this, as if it was his friend who died. Now the Tianjian sect is the overlord of a state, but he didn't expect that the inheritance of the sect's great elder was destroyed. Isn't this a slap in the face of his Tianjian sect? He immediately said, Elder Yun, don't worry, as long as it is not the Kunlun sect in Qingzhou who made the move, my Tianjian sect has not taken other forces seriously. Good guy. You are so confident. Hearing this, Yunlong's eyes, which were originally full of murderous intent, were stunned. Kunlun sect? What kind of sect is this? Zhao Wuji seemed to see Yunlong's confusion, and immediately told him what happened in Qingzhou a few days ago. Heavenly King Realm Power. That when Yunlong heard that Kunlun sect might have a Heavenly King Realm Power, his face changed drastically and he couldn't help but exclaimed. Yes, Elder Yun, I hope that the Yuhua dynasty was not destroyed by this Kunlun sect. Zhao Wuji narrowed his eyes at him, and then continued, but if it was the great Qing dynasty, our Tianjian sect will definitely help the great elder. I want an explanation. Hear the words. Yunlong didn't think much about it, but his face was gloomy and terrifying. The inheritance was destroyed, and he must avenge this. He was certain that the Yuhua dynasty was not the one who took action from the two dynasties, the Qin and the Xia, because these two dynasties knew about his relationship with Tianjian sect and would not take action without any reason. There is only the great Zhou dynasty that is as powerful as the Yuhua dynasty. Think of this. Yunlong's eyes became more murderous. If he hadn't come to Tianjian sect, the Zhou dynasty would have been destroyed by him. At this time, Zhao Wuji seemed to have thought of something. He glanced at Yunlong and said excitedly, Elder Yun, this time you have broken through the Dongshu realm, let me celebrate for you, so that other forces in Tianzhou know that Tianjian the sect has added another powerful Dongshu figure. Zhao Wuji did not wait for Yunlong to speak, and continued, Elder Yun, don't worry, in a few days I will let several elders go to Qingzhou with you, and let the forces in Qingzhou know how powerful our Tianjian sect is. Zhao Wuji now wished that the entire southern wilderness territory would know that another strong man from the cave void realm had appeared in the Tianjian sect. Good guy, I want to take revenge. Did you just plan on having a meal in advance? After hearing Zhao Wuji's words, Yunlong knew there was no rush and immediately said respectfully. Then I would like to thank the sect master in advance. Elder Yun, there's no need to be polite, just take it as such, Zhao Wuji said happily. Next, Tianjian sect held a grand banquet and invited all the forces in Tianzhou to come and eat, to celebrate Elder Yunlong's breakthrough into the cave realm. It's no wonder that Zhao Wuji did this. In fact, in one state, the number of Dongshu realm experts can be counted on one hand. Of course, except for some powerful big states, there are not so few Dongshu realms.